The night sky over Colorado burned with strange lights. Jake Miller wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked up from the construction site. The other workers had gone home hours ago, but Jake stayed late to finish the concrete pour. At 28, he was used to working alone. His friends always said he was too curious for his own good. The lights moved in ways that aircraft could not. They danced and spun, then suddenly dropped toward the mountains like falling stars. Jake set down his tools and grabbed his truck keys. Something told him he needed to see this up close. 20 miles outside Denver, Jake parked his pickup truck near an old mining road. The air felt different here, charged with electricity that made his skin tingle. He followed a faint blue glow through the pine trees until he reached a clearing. The ship sat in the middle of the open space like a giant teardrop made of silver metal. It was about the size of a school bus, but shaped like nothing humans had ever built. Steam rose from its surface and strange symbols glowed along its sides. Jake should have been afraid. Any normal person would have run back to their truck and called the police. Instead, he walked closer. The symbols on the ship pulsed brighter as he approached, almost like they were responding to him. A section of the ship opened without sound. Vapor poured out and a figure emerged that made Jake's breath catch in his throat. She was tall, maybe 7 feet, with skin that glowed soft blue in the darkness. Forearms moved with grace as she stepped onto the ground. Her face was beautiful but alien, with large eyes that held depths of sadness Jake had never seen before. She wore clothing that seemed to be made of liquid metal, flowing around her body like water. The alien woman saw Jake and froze. Her forehands moved to devices on her belt, but she did not draw any weapons. Instead, she tilted her head and studied him with those enormous eyes. "You are not afraid," she said. Her voice came from a small device on her chest, translating her words into English. The sound was musical, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Should I be?" Jake asked. He kept his hands visible and his voice calm. "Most beings run when they see me. My people have studied your species from far away. We believed humans would react with violence." Jake took a step closer. "My name is Jake Miller. What's yours?" The alien woman's eyes widened with surprise. "You wish to know my name?" "Of course. That's what people do when they meet. I am called Zara of the House of Stones, daughter of Ketha." She paused, then added, "Though I suppose those titles mean nothing to you." "They mean something if they're important to you," Jake said. "What brings you to Earth, Zara?" Her shoulders sagged, and suddenly she looked very tired. Desperation. "My people are dying. Our planet Ketha suffers from a sickness that makes us unable to have children. In 3 generations we will be extinct." Jake felt his heart tighten. "I'm sorry. That's terrible. Our scientists discovered something before the end came. Human blood, human genes, they are compatible with ours. More than compatible, they could save us." Zara's voice grew stronger. "I am a widow. My husband died from the sickness 2 cycles ago. But before he passed, we learned that I could bear a child if I could find a human partner." The words hung in the air between them. Jake stared at this beautiful, sad alien woman and felt something shift inside his chest. She had traveled across the galaxy, alone, to save her entire species. The bravery of it took his breath away. "You came here to find someone to have a child with?" "Yes, I know how it sounds. I know what I am asking is beyond strange. But I have no choice. My people have no choice." Jake looked at the ship, then back at Zara. "How long have you been traveling?" 47 of your days. The journey was long and dangerous. I had to avoid your military and find a place to land safely." "You've been alone all this time?" Zara nodded. "I am the only one who could make this journey. The others are too sick or too afraid." Jake made a decision that would change everything. "You don't have to be alone anymore. I'll help you. You do not understand what you are offering. Maybe not completely, but I understand enough. You're trying to save your people. That takes courage. And you asked instead of just taking what you needed. That shows honor." Zara stared at him for a long moment. Then, to Jake's surprise, Tears began to flow down her blue cheeks. They glowed, softly, like liquid starlight. In all our preparations, in all our studies of humans, we never expected kindness, she whispered. Jake moved closer and gently touched one of her 4 hands. Her skin was warm and smooth, like polished stone. Then, you haven't been studying the right humans. Over the next hour, Zara explained more about her people and their situation. The plague had started 50 years ago. At first, it only affected the elderly. Then it spread to younger adults, making them weak and unable to reproduce. Now it was killing everyone. Our scientists believe that mixing our genetics with human genetics will create immunity, Zara said. The child would be healthy and could help create a cure for the rest of my people. Jake listened to everything, asking questions when he needed to understand better. As the night grew colder, he made another decision. You can't stay out here in the open. Too many people will start asking questions. Where can I go? I cannot appear as I am among your people, Jake smiled. I have an idea. But first, there's someone I want you to meet, my sister Amy. She's a nurse and she's the smartest person I know. If anyone can help us figure this out, it's her. Zara looked uncertain. You would trust another human with this secret? Amy's not just anyone, she's family. And if we're going to do this right, we're going to need help. As dawn approached, Jake and Zara made plans. She would hide her ship in a nearby cave, and Jake would bring Amy to meet her the next evening. It was the beginning of something neither of them fully understood, but both felt was important beyond measure. Standing in the clearing as the sun rose, Jake looked at this alien woman who had trusted him with the survival of her entire species. He did not know what the future would bring, but he knew his life had just taken a turn towards something extraordinary. Amy Miller stared at her brother like he had lost his mind. They sat in her small apartment kitchen, and Jake had just finished telling her about meeting an alien woman in the woods. Amy set down her coffee cup with shaking hands. Jake, you need to see a doctor. Maybe you hit your head at the construction site. Amy, I'm not crazy. I know how this sounds, but you have to trust me. An alien. A blue alien with 4 arms who wants to have a baby with a human. Amy shook her head. Do you hear yourself? Jake pulled out his phone and showed her the pictures he had taken. Zara's ship glowed in the darkness, and her tall figure stood beside. The images were clear and real. Amy studied the photos for a long time. As a nurse, she was used to seeing strange things, but this was beyond anything in her experience. These could be fake. People make fake pictures all the time now. Then come with me tonight. Meet her yourself. That evening, Amy followed Jake into the mountains. She carried a medical kit, partly because she always did and partly because she was nervous. If Jake was right, she would be meeting the first alien ever to visit Earth. If he was wrong, she would be helping her brother get the mental help he needed. They found Zara waiting in the same clearing. She had moved her ship to a hidden cave, nearby, as Jake had suggested. When Amy saw her for the first time, she nearly fainted. Zara stood perfectly still, letting Amy look at her. The alien woman seemed to understand that this moment was important. Amy walked in a slow circle around, Zara studying her with a nurse's trained eye. Your bone structure is different from humans, Amy said finally. Your heart is beating, but the rhythm is wrong, and your skin actually glows. I am real, Zara said softly. I understand your doubt. In your position, I would feel the same. Amy reached out and touched Zara's arm. The skin was warm and smooth with a texture like polished stone. This is impossible. Many things that seem impossible are simply things we do not yet understand, Zara replied. Over the next 2 hours, Zara answered Amy's questions. She explained her people's biology, their reproduction, and the plague that was killing them. Amy listened with growing fascination. Your species gives birth to live young, like humans? Amy asked. Yes. We carry our children for 7 months, usually only 1 child at a time, though twins are possible. And you believe mixing your genetics with human genetics will create immunity to this plague? Zara nodded. Our best scientists have studied the problem for decades. Human blood contains proteins that our bodies cannot make. These proteins fight diseases that kill my people. Amy looked at Jake. This is incredible. If it's true, we're talking about saving an entire alien species. It's true, Jake said. I believe her. Amy turned back to Zara. What do you need from us? Time, safety, and knowledge about human society. I cannot simply ask the first human I meet to father my child. I must understand your people, your customs, your way of life. Jake had an idea. There's an old warehouse outside town. It's been empty for years. You could set up a base there. Stay hidden while you learn about us. That could work, Amy agreed. I could help you understand human biology and medicine. Maybe we could even find other people to help us. Zara's eyes brightened. You would do this, both of you? My brother is right, Amy said. If we can help save your people, we have to try. 2 weeks later, Zara had transformed the abandoned warehouse into a hidden base. Her technology was beyond anything humans had ever seen. Machines that could heal injuries in minutes. Computers that could solve problems faster than human minds could even understand them. And medical equipment that made Earth's best hospitals look primitive. Amy visited every day after her shifts at the hospital. She taught Zara about human reproduction, human emotions, and human relationships. In return, Zara shared knowledge about medicine and biology that amazed Amy. Your people treat symptoms, Zara explained one evening. My people learned long ago to treat causes. This machine can look inside a body and fix problems before they become serious. Amy watched as Zara demonstrated a device that could heal a broken bone in minutes. This technology could save millions of human lives. If my mission succeeds, I will gladly share our knowledge with your people. Jake visited whenever he could. He brought Zara books about human culture, movies about love and family, and food from different countries. Zara was a quick learner, and soon she understood human society better than many humans did. Your species is fascinating, she told Jake one night. You are capable of great kindness and terrible cruelty, sometimes by the same person on the same day. We're complicated, Jake admitted. Does that worry you? No. It gives me hope. My people have become too focused on survival. We have forgotten how to feel joy, how to love, how to dream of better things. Perhaps our children will remember. As the weeks passed, Jake found himself spending more and more time with Zara. She was intelligent, kind, and incredibly brave. Her dedication to saving her people impressed him every day. Slowly, without either of them planning it, they began to care for each other in ways that went beyond friendship. Amy noticed the change in both of them. Jake smiled more than she had seen in years. Zara seemed less sad, more hopeful about the future. Amy knew that something special was growing between them. One evening, Jake brought a friend to meet Zara. Pete Wilson was a geneticist who worked at a research lab in Denver. Jake had told him part of the truth, claiming that Zara was a foreign scientist working on genetic diseases. Pete studied the blood samples that Zara provided. His excitement grew as he ran test after test. This is incredible, he told them. These genes, these proteins, I've never seen anything like them. Where did you say you were from? Zara looked at Jake and Amy. They had discussed this moment, but it was still scary. I am not from Earth, Dr. Wilson, Pete laughed. What do you mean, like not from America? Not from this planet? Pete's laughter died as he looked at the serious faces around him. Then he looked more carefully at Zara, noticing details he had missed before. The slight glow of her skin, the way her eyes caught light, the graceful movement of her forearms. You're serious, he whispered. Completely serious, Jake said. Pete sat down heavily in a chair. An alien. A real alien. And you want to have a baby with her. To save her people, Amy added. Pete, this could be the most important scientific discovery in human history. Pete was quiet for a long time. Finally, he looked up at Zara. What do you need me to do? Dr. Kate Ross had seen many strange things in her 20 years as a fertility specialist. But nothing had prepared her for this. She sat in the warehouse, staring at genetic test results that showed combinations that should not exist. The compatibility is remarkable, she told the group. I've never seen two species with such similar reproductive systems. It's almost like you were designed to work together. Pete nodded from his chair. I've been studying the samples for 3 weeks. Human and Cathony DNA don't just mix well, they improve each other. The child would be healthier than either parent. Zara felt a surge of hope. Then it is possible? More than possible, Dr. Ross said. With the right medical care, I believe the pregnancy would be completely safe for both mother and child. Jake reached over and took one of Zara's hands. Over the past month, their friendship had grown into something deeper. They spent hours talking about their dreams, their fears, and their hopes for the future. Jake had never felt so connected to another being. There's something else we need to discuss, Dr. Ross continued. If Zara becomes pregnant, she'll need constant medical supervision. This isn't something we can hide from everyone. Amy frowned. What do you mean? I mean, we'll need help from other doctors, nurses, maybe even government officials. The secret is going to get out. As if her words had summoned trouble, Jake's phone buzzed with an emergency alert. Amy grabbed her phone too, and her face went pale. Military helicopters are searching the mountains, she read aloud. They're looking for unidentified aircraft. Zara stood up quickly. They have found traces of my ship. We need to move, Jake said. Now. But it was too late. The sound of helicopter rotors filled the air outside the warehouse. Through the windows, they could see searchlights cutting through the darkness. This is Colonel Ryan Stone of the United States Air Force, a voice boomed from speakers. We have this building surrounded. Come out with your hands visible. Zara's 4 hands moved to devices on her belt. I will not let them capture me. My people need me to complete this mission. Wait, Jake said. Let me talk to them. Jake, no. Amy grabbed his arm. They might arrest you. They might arrest all of us anyway. Jake looked at Zara. Trust me. Not all humans are afraid of what they don't understand. Jake walked outside with his hands raised. Colonel Stone stood behind a line of soldiers, all pointing weapons at the warehouse. He was a tall man with gray hair and cold eyes. Mr. Miller, the colonel said, we know you've been meeting with an unknown entity in these mountains. Where is it? Her name is Zara, Jake said calmly, and she's not a threat to anyone. That's not your decision to make. Step aside. No. Colonel Stone's eyes narrowed. Excuse me? I said no. She came here for help and I'm going to help her. Mr. Miller, you're interfering with national security. I'm protecting someone who needs protection. The standoff continued for several tense minutes. Then another vehicle arrived, and Agent Lisa Park stepped out. She was younger than the colonel, with short brown hair and intelligent eyes. Colonel Stone, she said, I need to speak with you. Not now, Agent Park. We have a situation. Yes, we do, and I think we're handling it wrong. Agent Park walked over to Jake. Mr. Miller, I'm with a special government task force that studies unusual phenomena. We've been tracking energy signatures from this area for weeks. And we want to communicate, not capture. If there's really an alien being here, this could be the most important moment in human history. Colonel Stone stepped forward. Agent Park, you're out of line. No, sir, you are. We have protocols for first contact situations, and they don't involve surrounding warehouses with soldiers. Inside the warehouse, Zara listened to the conversation through her translation device. Pete and Amy stood beside her, both looking worried. This Agent Park seems different from the colonel, Pete said. Some humans will react with fear, Zara replied. Others with curiosity. I must decide which group has more power. Dr. Ross checked her phone. I'm getting calls from the hospital. Word is spreading that something big is happening out here. Zara made a decision that surprised everyone. She walked to the warehouse door and opened it. The soldiers immediately raised their weapons, but Agent Park held up her hand. Hold your fire, she commanded. Zara stepped into the light, her blue skin glowing softly in the darkness. The soldiers stared in amazement. Some looked afraid, Others looked fascinated, but none of them fired. "I am Zara of Ketha," she said, her translator making her voice clear to everyone. "I come in peace, seeking help for my dying people." "Colonel," Stone's hand moved to his weapon. "Secure the alien." "Belay that order," Agent Park said firmly. "Ma'am, my name is Lisa Park. Can you understand me?" "Yes. Your language is simple for my translation device." "Why are you here?" Zara looked at Jake, who nodded encouragingly. She told Agent Park the same story she had told him weeks ago. About the plague, about her dead husband, about the desperate journey to Earth seeking hope for her species. When she finished, Agent Park was quiet for a long moment. "You want to have a child with a human?" "With Jake Miller. We have studied the genetics. It is possible, and the child could save both our species." Colonel Stone stepped forward. "This is ridiculous. We can't allow alien contamination of human genetics." "It's not contamination," Pete said, coming out of the warehouse. "I've been studying the genetic compatibility. A hybrid child would be remarkable." Dr. Ross and Amy joined them outside. Soon everyone was talking at once. Soldiers lowered their weapons as they listened to the incredible story. Some remained suspicious, but others seemed moved by Zara's dedication to her people. Agent Park took charge of the situation. "Colonel, I'm declaring this a scientific first contact scenario, not a military threat." "Agent Park, I cannot allow—" "Colonel," Stone, look at her, really look. Does she look like an invader? She's alone, unarmed, and asking for help. She could have taken what she needed by force, but instead she asked permission. Jake stepped forward. "Zara has been living peacefully among us for weeks. She's shared medical technology that could save human lives. She's not our enemy." Daitsia, standoff continued until dawn. More government officials arrived, including scientists who were fascinated by Zara's presence. Slowly, the mood shifted from fear to curiosity. Finally, Agent Park made an announcement. "We're going to establish a secure facility where Zara can continue her work under government protection. This is too important for all of humanity to handle carelessly." Colonel Stone was not happy, but he was outnumbered. "This is a mistake." "Maybe," Agent Park agreed, "but it's a mistake worth making." As the sun rose, Jake looked at Zara. The decision was no longer just theirs to make. The whole world would soon know about the alien woman who came to Earth seeking love and hope. "Are you ready for this?" he asked her. Zara smiled, the first genuine smile he had seen from her. "With you beside me, I am ready for anything." 6 months later, Zara placed her hand on her growing belly and felt the baby kick. The child inside her was strong and healthy, and Dr. Ross said the pregnancy was going better than anyone had hoped. The government facility looked like a small hospital from the outside. Inside, it was the most advanced medical center on Earth. Zara's technology had been combined with human medicine to create something amazing. Amy worked there full-time now, learning alien medical techniques that would help humans for generations to come. "How are you feeling today?" Dr. Ross asked during the morning checkup. "The baby is very active," Zara replied. "I think it will be born soon. The scans show everything is perfect. Heart rate is strong. Brain development is excellent. This child is going to be remarkable." Jake sat beside Zara's bed, holding her hand. Over the past months, their relationship had grown deeper than either had thought possible. They had faced government hearings, scientific tests, and media attention together. Through it all, their bond had only grown stronger. "Have you thought about names?" Amy asked as she checked Zara's vital signs. "We have some ideas," Jake said, "but we want to wait until we meet the baby." Agent Park entered the room with a serious expression. "We have a situation. Colonel Stone is making another attempt to gain control of the facility." Zara sighed. "He has never accepted our agreement. He's not alone anymore. There are people in Washington who think this whole program is dangerous." Pete looked up from his computer. "What kind of dangerous?" "The medical advances we've made could cure diseases that have killed humans for thousands of years." "Some people are afraid of change," Agent Park said. They think mixing human and alien genetics is wrong. Jake felt anger rise in his chest. They don't understand what Zara has given up. She can never go home. She'll never see her planet again. I know, Agent Park said gently. But we have to deal with reality. There are protesters outside the facility. Some of them are peaceful, but others are not. That evening, Zara went into labor. The medical team had been preparing for weeks, but when it actually happened, everyone felt nervous. This was the first human-alien birth in history. Dr. Ross and Amy worked alongside Zara's medical machines. The alien technology monitored both mother and baby with precision that amazed the human doctors. But complications arose that no one had expected. The baby's position is wrong, Dr. Ross said with worry in her voice. We need to do surgery. No, Zara said firmly. There is another way. My people have techniques for difficult births. Zara activated a device that surrounded her with a gentle blue light. The machine began working on her body in ways that human medicine could not understand. Jake held her hand and refused to leave her side, even when the medical team said he should wait outside. I'm staying with her, he told them. Whatever happens, we face it together. Amy monitored both their vital signs as the alien medical technology worked. This is incredible. The machine is actually helping the baby turn into the right position. Hours passed. Outside the facility, crowds had gathered. News reporters from around the world waited for word about the historic birth. Some people held signs supporting Zara and Jake, while others demanded that the alien be sent away from Earth. Finally, just as dawn broke, the baby was born. Dr. Ross held up a beautiful child who looked mostly human, but had Zara's glowing eyes and slightly blue-tinted skin. The baby cried with a strong voice that filled the room with joy. It's a girl, Dr. Ross announced with tears in her eyes. Jake stared at his daughter in amazement. She was perfect, with tiny fingers that glowed softly like her mother's. When Zara held her for the first time, the baby stopped crying and looked at her with intelligent eyes. She's beautiful, Amy whispered. Look at how alert she is. Pete ran more tests on the baby's blood. The genetic combination is perfect. She has immunity factors from both species. This child could help develop cures for diseases on both Earth and Ketha. Agent Park entered the room with a smile. What are you going to name her? Jake and Zara looked at each other. They had discussed many names, but now that they saw their daughter, only one felt right. Hope, Zara said softly. Her name is Hope Miller. Hope Miller Keth, Jake added. She's a bridge between our two worlds. As word of Hope's birth spread around the globe, something unexpected happened. Other alien ships began appearing in Earth's skies. These were not invaders, but refugees. Species after species arrived, all facing their own forms of extinction. Agent Park briefed Jake and Zara about the situation 2 weeks after Hope's birth. We've made contact with 5 different alien species so far. They've all heard about Hope's successful birth. They're calling Earth a sanctuary world. How many are coming? Jake asked while rocking Hope in his arms. We don't know. Maybe dozens of species, maybe hundreds. Zara felt a mix of emotions. My people taught me that humans were primitive and violent. I was wrong. Your species has something mine lost long ago. What's that? Amy asked. Compassion, the willingness to help others, even when they are different from you. Dr. Ross entered with test results. Hope's development is ahead of schedule. She's already showing signs of enhanced cognitive abilities. She might be able to communicate with both human and alien species better than anyone. Jake looked down at his daughter, who stared back at him with those glowing eyes. No pressure, little one. Over the following months, Earth transformed. The planet became a meeting place for dying species from across the galaxy. Human doctors worked with alien healers to develop new medical treatments. Human engineers learned from alien technology, and alien refugees learned about human culture, art, and music. Colonel Stone eventually retired, unable to accept the new reality. Agent Park took over the program and expanded it into a global initiative. The United Nations created a new department dedicated to interspecies cooperation. Amy opened a school where human and alien children learned together. Pete started a research institute that studied genetic compatibility between different species. Dr. Ross became the leading expert on interspecies reproduction. And Hope grew into a remarkable child who could speak both human languages and alien communications. She played with friends from a dozen different worlds, and her laughter filled the halls of what had once been a secret government facility. 1 year after Hope's birth, Jake and Zara stood together watching their daughter play, with other children in the garden outside their home. Some of the children were human, others were alien, and a few were hybrids like Hope. "Do you ever regret coming to Earth?" Jake asked. Zara took his hand and smiled. "How could I regret finding you? Finding love? Finding hope for not just my people, but for all people." Jake squeezed her hand gently. "The universe is a lot bigger than we thought. And a lot more connected," Zara replied. "Hope is proof that different species can not just coexist, but create something better together." As they watched their daughter, laughing with her friends under the stars, Jake realized that humanity's greatest strength had never been their technology or their weapons. It was their ability to see past differences and find common ground with anyone willing to try.